Perfect.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our regular council meeting for December 5th, 2022. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional territories and the oral practices of the Blackfoot Nation, which include the Siksika, the Kainai, and the Piikani. We also acknowledge the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. We're making this acknowledgement to demonstrate our continuing efforts to work together as we strive for reconciliation through increased and collective learning. Okay, we'll start off with a staff introduction. Alan?
Okay, thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Christina Motruck. Christina completes our HR team finally. She's our new HR manager. She joins us from Meadowbrook Construction in Ontario, another one coming west, where she was the head of people and culture. Her professional portfolio includes construction, manufacturing, logistics, sports science, and now a really long term in local government. She holds a Bachelor of Human Resources and Labor Relations degree from Athabasca University and her payroll certified practitioner designation from the National Payroll Institute. So Shelley, if you're ever short on that end, you can steal her for a little bit. She's also qualified as a Canadian Human Resources Leader candidate. In her free time, she likes to hike and spend time with her Doberman Griffey. We welcome Christina. We're pleased to have her here with our team. Thank you.
Welcome. You don't have to say anything today there, so yeah, good. Okay. Yeah. Okay, moved by Councillor Jessica that the agenda be adopted. All those in favor? Okay. We do see up there, Councillor Idris there, so. Moved by Councillor Nesbitt that the minutes from the regular council meeting held November 21st, 2022 be approved. Any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Prentice that the following updates of correspondence be received as information, updates on council conferences and or workshops, the accounts payable listing and council committee November 29th, 2022. And I believe Councillor Goodenough has something. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Yeah, on December 2nd, City Council passed a motion that we would have, I'm thinking of the word now, International Day of People with Different Disabilities, and I was able to participate with Joyce, our HR inclusion manager, for an hour or so, and we went around with the handy bus to JBS to downtown on 2nd Street in a wheelchair, and just to be able to walk, or not walk, but to roll around for about an hour. And just a few things I wanted to point out. I thought that JBS was excellent to maneuver around. And we were there at a busy time when high school students were rushing in and out, and they were so polite. And even the staff that knew me were concerned for my well-being, and that was great. They stopped and, "What happened, Joel?" And I said, "Councillor Wardrop hit me." And no. And then we moved on, and the bus staff was just amazing. I was a little anxious when going on the ramp, but she talked me through it, and it was quite comforting. And then just to go downtown, go on the streets. The streets were well kept. My only concern was just the back alley entrances. The wheelchair, mind you, that I was in is not meant for really for outside of the hospital, because there's no traction, no grip on it. So I'm going across, and all of a sudden I just started to slide onto 2nd Street. And but Joyce was there to help me and push me along. So it was a really good time, and I think our city's doing a good job in making sure that we can be a welcoming and inclusive community for those with disabilities and in wheelchairs. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you very much for doing that.
Yep.
Okay, Councillor Jessica.
Thank you, Mayor. So been a busy couple of weeks. Mayor Petrie and Reeve Arnold Orkson and County Councillor Neil Johnson and I met with the Premier at a constituency meeting, and the main focus of that discussion was on the Sewa Waste Energy Project. And so we had almost an hour with her, some very good discussion. She had lots of questions, a lot of interest in the potential tie-in with JBS. And at the end of that meeting, she was asked to help us out with a grant request to carry the project forward. And she was aware of the project already in the past from when she was on the radio station. And actually, the waste to energy goes way back. One of the attendants at another meeting I was at, recalled that Ralph Klein was very interested in it. So that just tells you it's nothing new. So we all left with a very positive impression from that meeting, and she arranged a meeting for me with Nathan Newdorf, the industry minister. So I met him in Edmonton on Friday, and for half an hour between the session, and then he headed out to Lethbridge, and I familiarized him with the project. and how it had got where it is and where it is, and what we needed to move it forward. We did discuss financing. He didn't give me a check for $500 million either, but I'm not going to give up. So the discussion went very well. Our grant application came in. I was part of that, and the province helping us move that forward as well. So hopefully something good will come out of those two meetings.
Yeah.
But both of them, I think everybody left with a very positive feeling about
Exactly, yeah.
it. I also attended a couple of Alberta Care meetings. Now, Alberta Care, I'm on the executive. It's an stakeholder organization that deals with waste management and recycling throughout the province. And the majority of the members are municipalities, and the majority of the attendees are councillors or administration. And they actually held a conference here in Brooks 6 or 7 years ago. And so that one still holds the record for attendance for a Southern Alberta Conference, and it had 125 people come to Brooks to attend that. So, but it was quite timely, and what we talked about there was the new extended producer responsibility regulation, which was enacted on the 30th of November, that requires that manufacturers and processors have systems in place to deal with packaging waste. And landfilling is not an option. And up to this point, we weren't really sure how this was going to work. Every province has some form of EPR, and so that gave us lots of things to look at. But how it finally turned out is that ARMA, the Alberta Recycling Management Authority, will look after managing the EPR. They will oversee, so industry it's industry's program, but it will be overseen by ARMA. So they will be making sure that there's no cheating. And the idea is to maintain the existing programs or even grow them at no cost to the municipalities. So it looked very positive. They also, actually the program also has a waste energy component, as the EPR allows for up to 15% of packaging waste to go to waste energy. So that was quite informative on what was going on there. And then we had a zone meeting as well, so that was attended by representatives from across the province as well, just to talk about landfilling issues and some of the other ARMA programs. And last but not least, there's a new Alberta Municipal Climate Leadership Council just been formed. It's a Council of Alberta elected officials focused on climate leadership through Alberta municipalities. And they didn't do very good security checks, so I happened to get on it. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Wardrop.
You mentioned that the grant application has come in for the CEWA. Could you, yeah.
Okay, so the way CEWA has worked up till now, there is a minimal membership fee to the municipalities on a per capita. But the first study they did was, is there enough waste in southern Alberta? And it determined that there was. You need, the economics of scale are critical, so you have to have enough waste, you have to have a large enough facility, or the cost is just too high per ton cost. So from there, they started out with a grant, did that study, and then every time you do something, then you need a new study. So one study was, okay, you've got 60 or 70 municipalities involved in this organization. How do you run it? So we had to go to Brownlee and get them to do a study on governance. And the NDP got in, and I thought, hallelujah, we're saved. But we weren't. But anyway, before they would even talk to us, we had to go to the Pembina Institute and have a study done to satisfy them that it's actually green technology. So every time you talk to a lawyer and engineer, it gets very expensive. And rather than go back to the municipalities and say, hey, we want $100,000 to give to Brownlee, we've been going from grant to study to grant to study. And at this point, we have 3 major players that say they will finance, design, build, operate the facility. We just have to find out what the terms are going to be. And so this next grant application is to develop a memorandum of understanding with the successful proponent to move forward on the project.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, we have a delegation. Mr. Perkins. I said 440, but it's 442. Are you all right with that?
You're all right, I can understand that. Well, welcome the mayor and councilors and stuff like that. I'm here tonight to bring a proposal from the Brooks Minor Ball Association. I am the chair of the Parks and Recreation Board for the Outdoor Committee. So what I'm going to talk about here is like the Minor Ball Association came up and they want to rename the West End Ball Diamonds, the West End Ballpark, name it the Riley Memorial Baseball field. And like just a couple of things about Riley, like they've been having that Riley Martin Memorial for the past few years, since 2014. And the board would like to propose naming the West End Ball Diamonds to the Riley Martin Memorial Ball Diamonds. And the Martin family, they've been supporting of these fields and stuff since about 2014. They've done a huge amount of work there and they're spending their own money, and any money that they make from the ball tournaments and stuff like that, you know, they put it all back into the diamonds and stuff like that. And so I'm just putting a proposal together to bring it about to the council that they should maybe consider renaming the ball diamond to West End Ball Diamonds to the Riley Memorial.
Okay, thank you. It comes up right away on council. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moved by Councillor Wardrop that the renaming of the West End Ball Diamonds background information as presented by Dwayne Perkins be accepted as information. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Goodenough that the city rename the West End Ball Diamonds to Riley Martin Memorial Ballpark with all signs to be donated by the Brooks Minor Baseball Association. Don.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council. At the June 16th Brooks and District Recreation and Parks Board meeting, the request from the Outdoor Committee to have the West End Ball Diamond renamed to Riley Martin Memorial Ballpark was deliberated with the following motion passed. Moved by D. Perkins, seconded by G. Scriver, that the Outdoor Committee recommends to the Brooks and District Recreation and Parks Board that the West End Ball Diamonds be renamed and the request be taken to City Council for consideration. As well, it was suggested that all signs be donated by the Brooks Minor Ball Association. Therefore, it is recommended that the city rename the West End Ball Diamonds to Riley Martin Memorial Ballpark with all signs to be donated by the Brooks Minor Baseball Association.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Goodenough.
I'm just curious, is there an idea of what those costs would be?
For the signs?
The signs, yeah.
No, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And we talked about this before, I mean, once it takes place there, we'll talk with our communications department to get the message out there. I would assume they will have an official renaming come up in the spring there, like when the ballparks are usable.
Yeah, I'm sure that once the signs are up and the ballpark is functioning, that there would probably be something like that.
Okay. Councillor Wardrop.
I was just wondering if it's possible to maybe rework the name just a little bit, as it's hard to, it's kind of a mouthful. We've seen that it's hard to say the Riley Martin Memorial Ballpark. We could maybe come up with some variation of words that it's just easier to say, you know? Like the Martin Memorial Ball Diamonds or Riley Martin Memorial Park, something that's easier to say, kind of sticks, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, Councillor Nesbitt.
Your Honor, I feel that the naming of the facility should remain as it's been presented, but people will use their own names after to refer to it, maybe to shorten it, but the name itself, I believe, is very important to have what they've requested. I know what you're saying, it's a long name, but down the road, people can say, we're going to go to Riley's Ballpark or whatever. They're not going to say we're going to the Riley Memorial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Wardrop.
If I remember correctly, Councillor Nesbitt and I are both on the Parks Board. I do believe that we worked the name at the meeting, that the name wasn't presented to the board as requested by the family or the ball association, that they came with a request to have it named, the park named after Riley. And then we kind of had a conversation about potential ideas. I don't think the name specifically came prepackaged to us.
Back to the
Maybe-
board, is that what you're saying? Never
Yeah,
went back
yeah,
to the board?
because I'm not suggesting taking Riley Martin out of the name or any of that, but I don't think that the name that is written here, it didn't come from the family or Brooks Minor Ball. I think they just came with a request to name the park after Riley Martin. So that's why that's why I suggested maybe we could work it so that it's easier to say and people don't come up with their own variations of what to call it, but just a suggestion.
Okay, well, I'll take it to the motion there. If it fails, and then it goes back to the rec board. But we'll go ahead with the.
Quick question.
Go ahead, Councillor Idris.
When we recently went into an agreement with JBS, we had a time on the name. Are we going to have a time on this name? Because someone could come in 10, 15 years and give a donation or do something, or are we just going to leave it like that?
So, a question, can you answer that, Don, or maybe somebody from the rec board? Did you guys come up with a time limit on that?
No, Your Honor.
If you have no objections, we can have Dwayne speak further.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If council has any objections.
Yeah. Dwayne, if you want to come to the mic here and, yeah. Oh, you go to that mic there. You can go, yeah.
I can sit here.
You didn't have to kick Don out.
I thought Don was going to move. I thought about sitting.
Yeah.
I don't mind sitting on his
Yeah.
lap. Anyhow, what was brought up at the rec board was spelled out the Riley Martin Memorial Ballpark. And that's what's in our minutes and stuff like that, so.
And the
that's-
family was fine with that then? Yeah,
Yep,
well,
that's what they
Okay.
agreed on and, so I know it is a mouthful, with the way I say it was a mouthful, but that's the actual, what we have in our notes. And, so, that's it for me.
Okay, yeah. Any other questions then? Okay.
When you're talking
Councillor
about,
Jessica, go ahead, yeah.
well, yeah, talking about the term, so
Oh, yeah.
something like JBS is a sponsorship, and they pay to put their name on it.
Yeah.
This is not a sponsorship, so it's not apples to apples. So I would suspect it would be kind of a slap in somebody's face to tear the name off in the future because somebody wanted to pay some dollars to put their name on it. There's a reason it's being named for Riley Martin, and nothing is forever, but I think the intent is for it to stay that way.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to take it to the motion then, that the city rename the West End Ball Diamonds to the Riley Martin Memorial Ballpark with all signs to be donated by the Brooks Minor Baseball Association. All those in favor? Are you, okay. You're in a time delay there, Mohammed. Okay, moved by Councillor Idris that the 2023 fuel tender be awarded to Petro-Canada. Don?
Thank you, through the chair to mayor and council. Each year, the city requests tenders for the following year's petroleum products. This year, 2 tenders were received. The 2 suppliers and the total cost, including GST, are from each are South Country Co-op was $428,965. Petro-Canada was $415,372. The difference between the tenders is $13,593. In previous years, Co-op has paid back its members 5% on fuels and 10% on lube and diesel exhaust fluid. These numbers fluctuate but cash back can be expected. Previous years have resulted in the city receiving between $8,700 and $13,000 in equity. However, $13,593 is more than the top end of what the city may or may not receive in equity from South Country Co-op. Therefore, Petro-Canada is the more favorable tender. Therefore, staff is recommending that the 2023 fuel tender be awarded to Petro-Canada.
Okay, any questions? Council Jessica.
And on, thanks for this. Have you, when we've had other tenders, they've mentioned other factors besides just the direct cost. So has the city dealt with Petro-Canada in the past? Has level of service from both been good?
Yes, we currently deal with Petro-Canada, and we've dealt with South Country Co-op as well.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Jessica that council increase the airport maintenance and lease fees by 3% for the year 2023. Don.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council. At the August 18th, 2022 Airport Commission meeting, it was recommended by the commission to increase the lot lease and maintenance fee by 3% for 2023. Bill Prentice made the motion that was carried. The last increase prior to this was in 2012. So the 2023 proposed rates with the 3% are private lot lease will be 0.045 cents per square foot. Commercial lot lease will be 0.057 cents per square foot. Private airport maintenance fee will be 0.02 cents per square foot. Commercial airport maintenance fee will be 0.025 per square foot. The private airport maintenance fee will be $147.29 per aircraft. And the commercial airport maintenance fee will be $226.60 per aircraft. Therefore, staff's recommending that council increase the airport maintenance and lease fees by 3% for the year 2023.
Okay, any questions? No questions, okay. To the motion then, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Prentice that Eileen Sosa be reappointed to the Municipal Planning Commission for a second two-year term commencing December 10th, 2022 and ending December 9th, 2024. Natasha.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council. The Municipal Planning Commission is made up of members of City Council and 7 citizens at large who are residents of the City of Brooks. Their mandate is to receive and consider all applications for development permits and subdivisions placed before it. The MPC held a meeting on November 16th of 2022. Joel Goodenough made a motion to reappoint Eileen Souza for a second two-year term on the MPC, and Dave Zakowski seconded the motion. Recommendation, therefore staff is recommending that Eileen Souza be reappointed to the MPC for a second two-year term commencing December 10th of 2022 and ending December 9th of 2024.
Okay, any questions? To the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Wardrop that council approve the donation of 380 youth drop-in passes to the JBS Canada Centre for Brooks Minor Hockey Association tournaments for the 2022-2023 season. The other Natasha.
Thank you through the chair to mayor and council. Brooks Minor Hockey Association is hosting 6 tournaments for the 2022-2023 season throughout the upcoming months of December and January. Recently, they have experienced challenges in having out-of-town teams register for tournaments due to limited space in local hotels, including those with that possess pool amenities. In order to enhance out-of-town teams to participate in local tournaments, the Brooks Minor Hockey Association would like to provide incentives to encourage registrations. A representative from the Brooks Minor Hockey Association presented to the Brooks and District Recreation and Parks Board at their meeting held on November 16th. During the meeting, Brooks Minor Hockey Association requested a donation of 380 youth drop-in passes at the JBS Canada Centre, valued at $2,375, as well as 2-hour rentals in the Chandos room per team, valued at $2,496. These values are assuming that all passes and hourly rentals would be used, and the motion was made on November 16th, 2022 by G. Scriver to recommend to City of Brooks Council that the City of Brooks provide 380 youth passes, but decline the request for the Chandos meeting room rental for the Brooks Minor Hockey Association tournaments for the 2022 and 2023 season. This was seconded by M. Stika. The recommendation, therefore, from administration is that council approve the donation of 380 youth drop-in passes to the JBS Canada Centre for the Brooks Minor Hockey Association tournaments for the 2022-2023 season.
Okay, any questions? Counselor Goodenough.
Hi, I'm just curious, are then those passes only valid for that weekend of the tournament, or how does that work?
Yes, so the passes would be for the specific tournament that is being held that weekend. So there's a tournament coming up December 10th and 11th. So passes would be awarded to the youth that are coming to town for these tournaments, and it would only be valid for those days.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, I'm a few minutes away from the land use bylaw public hearing. Can I skip ahead here and go, okay. Yeah, we'll go with the smoking bylaw here. Moved by, I think I got these in the right order here. Yeah, okay, it must be here. Okay, moved by Councillor Goodenough that the bylaw 2216 being a bylaw of the City of Brooks in the province of Alberta for the purpose of regulating smoking within the City of Brooks of the JBS Canada Centre and Centennial Regional Arena be introduced and read a first time. Amy.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mayor and Council. The current JBS Canada Centre and Centennial Regional Arena smoking bylaw does not designate a smoking area for the JBS Canada Centre. People who smoke are doing so outside the main doors where all patrons enter and exit the facility, and this results in increased litter on the ground outside the main doors, and the planter boxes are being used to dispose of cigarette butts, which creates a potential fire hazard. Although the area is signed as a no smoking area, it is difficult for staff to enforce as there is no smoking area on the property to direct people. This topic was discussed by the Brooks and District Recreation and Parks Board at their meeting on October 19th, and the board identified 2 areas to recommend to City Council to be included as designated smoking areas, and this draft bylaw was also discussed at the November 29th Council Committee meeting. Therefore, administration is recommending that bylaw 2216 receive 3 readings and be adopted.
Okay, any questions? Okay, to the motion then. All those in favor?
I have a question actually.
Carried. Oh, sorry. Did you have a question, Councillor Idris?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and forgive my ignorance, but is there a difference between a violation tag and a violation ticket?
Through the chair to Councillor Idris, the definition of violation tag is a City of Brooks bylaw ticket, and then bylaw ticket, and then violation ticket is a provincial ticket. So if it's not paid within 14 days, the municipal ticket can be what we call flipped to a provincial ticket. So that's why there's 2 definitions.
Okay, and that's why there are almost 2 sections of it. Like there is a section on tags, and there is a okay.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Jessica.
So when we were looking at this, there was a little bit of discussion about the locations at the CRA, and I see it says in section 400 on page 2, and there they're talking about JBS Canada Centre, that an area designated for smoking as indicated in Schedule C as amended or repealed by council from time to time. I'm just looking, do the same conditions apply to the CRA? You know, because the discussion we had, the CRA, we may find that those locations do not work all that well, and they may need to be changed. So just how difficult will it be to change them?
At the CRA.
Yeah.
I thought we ended up sort of agreeing that they were fine the way they were at the CRA there, but.
Yeah, and I'm not saying change it now. I'm just saying here it says that at some point they can be changed at the JBS Centre. Can they also be changed at the CRA?
Oh, okay, that's the question. Okay, good. Okay.
Through the chair to Councillor Jessica, the as amended or repealed by council from time to time would apply to both the CRA or the JBS Canada Centre. We would just, instead of doing a whole new bylaw like we're doing now, we would just amend or replace the schedule if and when council wanted to change the smoking areas.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. I'm going to go through the 3 readings and then I'll get to the public hearing here. Just be a 1 second here. Okay, moved by Councillor Wardrop that bylaw number 2216 be read a second time. Any questions on that? All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Idris that bylaw number 2216 be given 3 readings at this meeting. This has to be carried unanimously. All those in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, moved by Councillor Prentice that bylaw number 2216 being a bylaw of the City of Brooks in the province of Alberta for the purpose of regulating smoking within the City of Brooks at the JBS Canada Centre and the Centennial Regional Arena be read a 3rd time and adopted. And this has to be carried unanimously too. All those in favor? Okay, there. Okay. Now we go to the public hearing, right? Okay, and I think we have Gavin on the line here now, too. It's 5:02. I'd like to call this public meeting to order. I'll have an explanation of the proposed bylaw. Gavin, I think Bruce will get you up here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor to chair and council, bylaw 2214 is being presented this evening for public hearing. It was regarding the use of kenneling in the land use bylaw 1412. This kenneling issue had come up under bylaw 2205 and had been passed September 19th. And upon further consideration of council they wish to open the processing of kenneling approvals up to the MPC and allow that authority to vary the distance by which a kenneling operation can be approved for outdoor uses. In the current definition, the listed distance of 150 meters would necessarily have to be removed from the kenneling definition, as well as amended in section 97.2 sub 3, so that the MPC can vary that distance on a case-by-case basis. Additionally, in the amendment, you'll find that there is an amendment for the hours of operation on weekends, and that change goes from 7 a.m. in the morning on the weekends to 9 a.m. Both these processes certainly are open to the MPC for changes when these applications come forward. And in your bylaw, section 36.4 allows for the circulation to adjoining landowners so that they may give their input, and that input be absorbed by the MPC prior to decision. This bylaw is circulated in the Brooks Bulletin 2 consecutive weeks in accordance with the Municipal Government Act. And at the time of drafting the memo, no members of the public were provided any comments. And I've not received any late submissions today either. Staff recommendation for this evening is to proceed with 2nd and 3rd, should there be no further changes. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any person speaking in favor of the proposed bylaw? Do we have any person speaking in opposition of the proposed bylaw? Any final comments there, Gavin?
None by me, no.
Okay, I'll adjourn this hearing at 5:06. Okay, moved by Councillor Nesbitt that bylaw 2214 be read a 2nd time. Any questions on the bylaw? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Idris that bylaw number 2214 being a bylaw of the City of Brooks in the province of Alberta to amend bylaw number 1412 being the land use bylaw be read a 3rd time and adopted. Any questions? All those in favor? Okay, that's it then, eh, for that? For that one there? Yeah, okay. And then we do that, okay. Okay. Questions from the media, Sandra?
No, thank you, Your Worship.
No questions? Oh, you all right? I know you're Jewish, but I was going to say you're in this Christmas spirit already here. Okay, moved by Counselor Jessica, that council close the meeting to the public for agenda item 11A, negotiations as per section 24, FOIP, 11B, legal matter as per section 27, FOIP 11, C, personal as per section 16, FOIP, and 11D, personal as per section 16, FOIP, at 5:07 PM. All those in favor? Okay. Okay.